Buddy, this is Professor Hall. This video is just a quick video to kind of show you how a module will work in this particular class. Some of you may be new to Canvas in general, so I'm just going to give you a couple highlights about Canvas as a whole as well. But mostly we'll just kind of be focusing on what a module looks like and how you make your way through. This is what the home page will look like. It'll look a little different for you, not so busy, but you know, it's very similar. A couple things I wanted to point out really quickly would be if you want to get a hold of me, this inbox right here in your global navigation menu, it'll probably be red on your end, but this box right here, you can email me from there. That's a great way to get a hold of me. If you just have a general question that maybe anybody in the class could answer about, like, you know, a question about something that you read in the modules, or you're not sure where to locate something, this student lounge and learning support, that's a great place to go. It's under discussions as well, but this student lounge is a place for anybody in the class to ask a question, and anybody in the class can answer that question. Okay, so that's those are two things I wanted to point out really quickly. You can get to any individual module by clicking on the module number here on the home page, but I'm just going to take you over here and go to modules so we can see them all open up. Okay. This is what the modules look like. One thing you'll notice is at the top of the module, it gives you the date range as to when this module will be available and when it closes, right? So module 1 opens on 6/12, closes on 6/16. Module 2 opens on 6/16, closes 6/20. The other thing you'll notice is in 95% of the modules, the page structure is going to be exactly the same. We have an introduction, we have housekeeping, we have a lecture video, then we have a deep dive into our content, which we'll talk about that in a minute. Then we have your film, and then following the film, there'll be a quiz and a discussion board, and then finally a summary of what we covered in that particular module. Okay, and everything kind of follows the same here. Okay, so as we make our way through class, we're just going to go to module 2, click on this here. The first film we're watching is called Amélie. It's a French film. And on the opening page, on the introduction page, it'll give you a lot of information about what you're going to be doing, what we're going to be talking about, and how I will evaluate your grasp of the concepts. Okay? Housekeeping, right now you're going to see there's a video on there. There won't always be a video. Sometimes it'll just have information. And part of that is because our class has in-person Zoom sessions. So all of this information I can give you in the class while we're actually meeting on the Mondays. Sometimes there'll be extra information that I forget or something, and there might be a video here. If you see a video here, go ahead and watch it. But always refer to anything I said in class as well as you know, these videos. When you go past that, it becomes the lecture. Okay, so now you see the header changes a little bit. Now we're talking about the specific movie. This will be a lecture video. Sometimes there'll be 2 lecture videos that'll be broken up into 2. This one has a password, so there's the password right above it. You plug that in here and hit watch, and the video will come up. So you got 2 lecture videos in week 1. They're probably both about 10-15 minutes long max. At the bottom, it has a lot of cinematic terms and the definitions of them and how they get used in the making of the film. And those are important because those are things that we discuss in the lecture, and we also bring them up in the quiz and discussion boards. Then you get to the deep dive page. So the deep dive page is a pretty interesting page. It's got a lot of information. I can't possibly cover everything. We don't all want to sit on Zoom for hours and hours. Plus, you don't want to sit and watch just me talking for hours and hours. So this is where you'll find our readings, right? So in this week, we're reading about cinematography. So this is a link to our book and to the pages that we're reading. You can download the book and keep it on your own, but I also put it in the deep dive page as well. This is a little video that talks about the production design and kind of cinematography when it comes to the language of Amélie and kind of how it was made to look like it looks. And then this is a great video on the cinematography specifically about how the language of the image is giving us more information than what's just happening on frame, right? And if you need an accessible version, there's an accessible version right there, meaning it has subtitles and stuff like that. So the deep dive page will always give you extra information to get a deeper understanding of the concepts that we're talking about in that particular week. Okay, so it's not optional material, it's stuff that you should go through and understand. It may pop up in quizzes. And then here we are on the film page. Again, here is the password. Plug the password in and the film will be accessible. And you'll be able to, watch your movie there. Every movie for this whole particular semester, you're going to find all the movies in the modules. I've posted all of them, so you don't have to go looking for any of the movies. Then you're going to land on a quiz. Okay, they give you about 30 minutes to take the quiz, and they're about 8 questions long. And I believe you can take it multiple times. No, on this one you can't take it multiple times. Sometimes quizzes you'll get to take twice. Sometimes you won't be able to. Just follow the instructions. And if they're open book, open note, you can refer back to anything. You do have a little bit of a time limit, so it's not unlimited time, but you do have plenty of time to answer 8 questions. And then you have a discussion board. So on a discussion board, you're usually going to have 2 questions or 2 prompts to address. And basically, listen to what it says here for your first paragraph. Okay, so I need you to write a paragraph that's going to be at least 5 sentences long that I'm going to be able to read that answers it. If it takes more than 5 sentences, then please write more than 5 sentences. This is a college course. It requires that you take a deep dive into content and make sure that you can explain what your understanding is of what we're talking about. And then there's paragraph 2, which has a different prompt, and that's typically how all the discussion boards will go. You will have 2 prompts, and you're trying to write a paragraph, and then you're supposed to respond to 2 comments or 2 classmates. Okay, so over the course of the few days in the class, go back, read other students' posts, and comment to them. Please don't say simple, small. It should be a paragraph in your response. You will lose some points if you're just giving 1 and 2 sentence replies to classmates. Okay, this is a college course. This is not, again, we're trying to get deep into content and start a conversation about what we just watched. And then after that, you'll typically find a summary page that just goes over what it is we went through and maybe give you a little bit more of a deep dive into some information, right? So here you see the screen test for Audrey Tautou, who played the lead role in Amelie. And this is just her casting screen test, right? So it gives you some insight as to where she started, how she got the role, and then how it developed into the character that you saw in the film. Okay? So one other thing I want to point out about in the modules is they're all kind of the same, just like that. Again, they all roll out just like that all the way through. There are a couple times where we see something a little bit different, and that is here in week 8 and then also in week 16. Number 1, you'll notice here we are doing a paper. We are not doing a discussion board. So you have to write a short 2 to 3 page paper here. And then the midterm is 50 questions, not 8 questions. And so you have more time. You only get 1 attempt. And there's a little bit of a midterm review that you can look at before you take the exam. So that'll also happen in week 16 as well. There'll be a paper due with a final exam. That's the only thing that you'll find different in any of the modules as you make your way through the course. Okay, so the other thing to take note is you can't see all of this. All the modules open up when that module is becoming available, right? So here, this one is supposed to open on 6/20. That's when it starts, and it'll unlock on 6/20 at 5 p.m. Okay, the module will stay open for you for the remainder of the class, but the assignments will lock at the end date. So on 6/23, the quiz will lock and the discussion board will lock. Okay, those will lock at 5 p.m. on that date. But the material will stay open to you, all right? So if you got any questions, please ask me in class or send me an email, and I will get back to you with a reply. Thanks for listening.